Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is everything in bud, spike or bloom on the 8th, actually on the 8th for a change. The 8th keeps falling on days when I've got other commitments and I can't do it. But this time we can, so on the 8th. It's not going to be a long video, but that's just the time of year. It was requested at the meeting on Saturday, which is our Cymbidium event. Oh, it's very late in the season, but if anybody's still got any in bloom, because they bring them in, well, I'm going to take Cali Knight and Tiger Tail in because they're both looking good. So hopefully others have got some as well. Right, so over this side we had one. So we have nothing in bud or spike over this side, nothing at all. You have to bear in mind, as things get close to blooming, they do get moved from this side over to the display area so that we can enjoy them. But what we do have is the Masdevallia ignea, which is looking good, and this plant I think is going to do well because it's showing good signs of taking to this environment and the way it's been potted. We've got new growths coming up in places and it's still producing new spikes. Yeah, there's one down here, one here in amongst the buds. So it's growing and growing the right things. So I think it might do well. It'll be the first one I've ever had that does do well. I've had a few. I've got another one somewhere lurking, but it's not very happy, and that's what's happened to all the others that I've ever had. Right, so onto the Cymbidiums. Tiger Tail is looking good. It has a lot of spikes, so it's got blooms over the whole plant, and quite honestly I think these are incredibly attractive blooms. Now I'm going to split this later in the year, and I'm hoping on Saturday, by taking this into the Orchid Society at a Cymbidium event, to actually rustle up some interest in some of the splits. so that I've got people waiting for them, if you know what I mean. I would charge a token amount for a division of this, because getting rid of Cymbidium's divisions is, well, it's almost impossible nowadays. People don't want them. But this is a semi-miniature, the actual plant size. So it's not a giant, so it's got that going for him. It's got attractive blooms, it's very floriferous, puts a lot of blooms out. So I think I might rustle up some interest, and I would charge a nominal fee to cover the pot and the potting and sort of my time, you know, so next to nothing basically, compared with what you'd pay for it normally. And Cali Knight I'm going to take in. This is a shame, I've only just noticed it, but the weight of the blooms on here has bent that on the clip. But the blooms are still okay. They haven't. I'd expect them to drop, but they haven't. Anyway, I mean, this one's got a good few spikes. It's well worth. I'll take this one in. It's well worth it. And these are, again, very attractive. Don't know whether the camera can pick it up, but the lip looks like it's covered in velvet. You know, that old-fashioned material that you used to get. People used to have curtains made out of it. Velvet, but that's what it looks like. Very attractive those are. And still hanging on is Jamie Red, the last spike. And it's still okay. It hasn't actually been open a huge amount of time. These blooms last a long time on this one. Very long time. But it's the sort of Cymbidium not everybody would like, because it hasn't really got a pattern on the lip. But there again, nor has Cali Knight. And come to think of it, nor has Tiger Tail. And most people look forward to the patterning on the lips as part of the blooms. But that's 3 that haven't got any. I mean, this has got the colours, but no patterning. So that's that. Obviously nothing up here at the moment. And coming round here, we have one bloom on that nobly. That is Dendrobium Sweet Pinky Momoko. And these blooms are incredibly large. But we've only got one this time round. it might put some more out. It's got canes that are, you know, blooming size. They've got their terminal leaf. They just haven't produced any buds this time round. So it may wait till next time. My prima donna is going over, unfortunately. That's always a sad sight. But we've still got a couple of reasonable blooms down the bottom here. Again, they're very attractive blooms. Lovely delicate touch of purple on the tips and the lovely deep yellow in the lip. Very attractive. And then up the back there is a nobly type hybrid. That's got no name, that one. They're going over. You can see they're fading quite badly. And then coming along the front here, we've got Paphiopedilum blackjack. This bloom will be gone soon. It's been open some time, and that's awaiting a repot. So it's waiting for the bloom to finish, and then we will get that one out and get that repotted. I mean, I actually potted it, so it's my media and my potting, but it's been in that pot a while now, and paths don't like stale media basically, so we'll sort that one out. And then this Miltoniopsis, which allegedly is Princess Diana, I won't confirm that, but looking on the internet, if you put in Miltoniopsis Princess Diana and switch to images and have a look, it's quite variable. And in amongst the ones you will see are ones that are incredibly like this one. So it could be Princess Diana, but I'm not confirming that. And then up here we've got Dendrobium infundibulum. Lasts for absolutely ages. I must get that kiki off. It's got good roots on it. To get a kiki on a black hair type is incredibly unusual. And normally splitting one is something that's very difficult to do because they don't tend to grow lots of canes each season. So you don't build up a huge number of canes to be able to split them. So having a kiki is good. It's starting a new plant. And that's a reliable black hair type that doesn't worry too much about the cold in the winter. So there's another big bud up the top there coming on. Oh, makes my arm ache putting the camera right up there. And then up the back here we've got the two Oncidium Sabine Mayer, is it? I keep forgetting. And it's typical, both the tags are facing the other way. It is Sabine Mayer, yes. Two nice spikes, plenty of buds. That'll be a lovely splash of colour when they come out. I don't know how long that's going to be because these haven't flowered for me before. This will be the first time they've flowered. I know that the ones that I saw that made me go out searching for this one, that was back at the NEC last year, so June last year. There were a couple in the displays from the Orchid Societies. Well, one was from Spice Exotic, and so that's where I got this one. I asked if they'd got any more. They said they haven't, but they're getting some in, so I sort of placed a tentative order and said, let me know when you've got them and I'll definitely have one of those. And there were two in the pot when I repotted it, so we've got two. But the blooms are quite large, so that should look good when it comes out. And then in the bottom row down here, that's going over now. That's Tongariro, Pleione Tongariro. And I've got a hell of a pot full here. I had a couple of my own, and then a lot were given to me by Helen, my friend Helen. And they're already going mad with the bulbils growing out the top of the bulbs. We've got some here, and these two are pushing on nicely and are starting roots. So what I'm going to do with those bulbils is, as they get to a reasonable size with roots on, I'm going to just snap them off and poke them in the pot so that they can get their roots down in some decent media, and then they'll grow into a better sized bulb for next year. They won't bloom next year, not these. They will grow on again. Yes, that's a nice pot full. We've had a good show of blooms on that this year. I suggest that we will have a better show next year because more of the smaller bulbs that came from Helen will grow a flowering size bulb this year, so that'll be good. And then we've got this one. This is it's a strange name. It's Hertha Kretz. And it's simplistic, and as a consequence is very attractive. It's not pure white. It has the palest tinge of lilac. And it won't show on the camera, I doubt. And then that lovely delicate yellow in the lip with the frills round. So that's that one. And then down here we've got my Sarcochilus. That's Fitzgeraldii. Only the one spike on it, but the actual growth that the spikes come out of is still growing. It's still extending and still producing new leaves. And some of the other smaller growths on the plant are pushing on as well. So I would hope that next year we'll actually get more spikes. But these are very attractive little blooms. I don't know how close I can get with this. Something like that. But they warrant a close view. Lovely patterning. But not large, they're quite small blooms. Right, there's nothing going on down here. And we're down to the very last Coelogeny bloom. And it's about to fall off. In fact, that's gone really. I can't really count that, can I? But that spike went in two phases. It had a lot of buds that opened, and then it extended a little bit and pushed a few more out. So keep my eye on that next time it happens. And then that is it over here. The only other thing we've got is the new Psychopsis, which has two spikes on it. And I hope I'm not imagining it, but I think this bud has actually swollen a bit since I got this plant. That's the sign that it may be going to take okay. These don't like being mucked about. And I say that because it's not just they don't like root disturbance, which they don't, but they don't like any form of mucking about. They don't like environment change. They don't like dramatic light level changes or temperature changes. They like a consistent environment that suits them. And then they will actually grow pretty well. But as I said, we've got two spikes on here. The spikes last forever. Spikes have been known to last 12 years on these because they're sequential. So a bloom opens and then another bud forms behind it. The bloom falls off and the next bud develops. You get gaps, you know, where there's nothing actually in bloom, but you can see the next bloom on its way. So yeah, be nice to get both of them in bloom at the same time. That would be good. But I doubt it. Yes, so that's it. There's no Phalaenopsis in the kitchen with spikes on, and there's nothing in bloom out there. So that's all we've got at the moment. So short and sweet. There is in fact somewhere there's a Restrepria in bloom, but it's buried somewhere. I remember when I watered, I remember thinking, oh, that's got a couple of buds on, but I forget where it is, so it'll be buried in amongst other plants, be on one of my trays, I expect. Now my trays, I don't know whether they're working or not, but what I do know is that now that we're in a bit of a mild spell, I don't know how long it's going to last, last night the heater hardly came on at all. So the temperature maintained its 12 degrees out here without any help. And the humidity went up to 90. Yeah? Well, the only place that humidity is coming from is off the pots, off the plants and off the trays. And humidity at night is a good thing. Yeah? Humidity with higher temperatures is also a good thing. But I mean, at the moment, because the door's open behind me, I mean the humidity's gone down to less than 70. But as long as it stays above 65, I'm happy in the daytime with the sort of temperature I've got, which at the moment is about 21. Note, it's happening. We're finally getting to the stage where the sun is getting high enough to come over the top of the roof of the house and hit the edge of this roof. Now it's only just touching it now, and it's at an incredible angle, so it won't be pushing much heat through the roof, just light at the moment. But gradually that shadow will move until it gets up to halfway. It gets right up to here eventually, and the higher it gets, the more heat actually comes in here. Now, what sort of bug is that up there? Not quite sure what that is. I hope it's not a spider that big. It's a beetle, I expect, of some sort. A bird will have that in a minute. I do have quite a few birds flitting around. Yeah, so that's it with the everything in bud, spike and bloom at the moment. Insa, we repotted his Dendrobium hercoglossum. Well, we didn't repot it, we mounted it. He's convinced that given the amount of growth on the plant itself, it should produce some decent roots soon and hopefully start hydrating better. He thinks it's going to bloom this year. I will reserve judgment and wait and see, because most of these canes are at the 2-year stage. Now, going from my old one that I had before I lost it, that did used to produce some blooms on the 2-year-old canes, but the bulk of the blooms were on the 3-year-old canes. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's got to get going. It's got to get some active root growth. It's got to sort of start picking up. And if it can start getting some reasonable roots and stay hydrated, hopefully these crinkly leaves will stop happening. We shall see. So yes, so I shall see you next time. I don't know what's coming up next, do I? Oh, I can't think. There's something coming up soon. There's some sort of regular thing that I'm supposed to do. Oh, you'll see it when it arrives. As I say, it's my concentration levels aren't as good as they have been in the past lately. Got other things on my mind. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.